Okay, I'm going to do these two problems from the homework for today. This is from section 2-4 on surface area and volume of a sphere. Okay, the first one is tough because you're given the volume and you're asked to go backwards to find the radius. So just remember, if this is equal to the volume, then we can replace that volume with the equation that gives us it. So 4/3 and then pi r cubed, all right, is going to be equal to that. Well, if I have 4/3 and I've got pi on both sides, I can cancel that, and I can then get rid of the 4/3 by multiplying by the reciprocal, 3/4. So r cubed then is going to be equal to 3/4 times 288. And let me talk about that first. That is not a variable, that's just our units. That's cubic feet. So it just means we're talking about dimensions that are in feet. You can kind of forget about it now, but then put it down at the end when you're putting a final answer. You know that the radius will be in single feet, not in cubic or square feet. Okay, so I take 3/4 of 288. So if you want to, just without a calculator, you can cut it in half. That's 144. Cut 144 in half and you've got 72, and then add those two together. That's 2 and then 3 parts of that. So that's what, 6 and 1 and 216. So r to the third is equal to 216. Well, I just need to take the cube root of that. Okay, so if you take your calculator and you hit the math key, all right, the math button is right here, third one down, hit that, and then choose option number 4, and you'll see you get a little 3 with the radical sign. Then type in 216, and you can close the parentheses. It gives you an open parenthesis if you want. You don't have to, but then when you hit enter, it gives you 6. So the answer is 6 feet. Okay, so you should be prepared to solve backwards from a given volume to find the radius. If this is given to you as a decimal, then you're just going to use 3.14 and you're going to come up with a decimal approximation for an answer. All right? So the next one is about this igloo question. This is a word problem. Again, it's fairly challenging, but you guys are in high school. You should be able to read through and work it all out. They're telling you that given a hemispherical, right, a half spherical igloo, and I don't know if you've ever seen the way igloos are constructed, but they're really cool. They're built on the concept of a dome, where they start with a spiral of blocks of snow that kind of spiral around. When they come around again, they just keep spiraling. They come around again, they spiral, spiral, and then eventually they just close it in at the top. But we're assuming it's a half of a sphere, and it's got a diameter of 15 feet. All right? That means the radius, r, is equal to 7.5. So the first question is, what's that floor space like? Well, that floor space there is going to be just pi r squared, and when you do the math on that, it is about 177. I rounded up, 177 square feet. Okay. Then they want you to find the surface area and the volume. Well, the surface area is 4 pi r squared, and then I've got only half of that because I've got half of a sphere for an igloo, so I'm going to divide that by 2, so I can just say it's 2 pi r squared, and when I do that, it's going to round to be very close to 353 square feet. So I write ft with a little square up there. The volume is going to be 4/3 pi r squared, and when you find the volume, you should be expert at that by now, it's going to be about 884, and then that's going to be cubic feet. Okay, so there's the surface area and there's the volume. All right, so changing color here just for emphasis, they want you to ask, well, if I made a square base, all right, that's not very dark color. Shift the black here. If you made a square that has the same area as the circular igloo, what would the dimensions be? Well, we know that the area is 177, so if I take the square root of that, it's just a little bit more than 13 feet on the side. Okay, so it's going to be like 13.1 by 13.1. And then it's going to have a height that's the same height as the igloo. And the height is the same as the radius, so that's going to be by 7.5. So now I've got this sort of box-shaped dwelling that's 7.5 feet high, and if I multiply they want you to find the surface area and the volume. The volume is a little bit easier because it's just going to be this area, 177, times 7.5. Okay, so you can check my math here, but it's 7.5 times 177. And I'll do that real quickly. 7.5 times 177. And that's about 1,327. No, that's not right. It's 7.5 times 177. Yep, it is. 1,327. Why did I doubt myself? So that's the volume for this square-shaped box. So you can see it's gone up. The volume has gone up. But the surface area then, if I figure out this surface here, is going to be about 13.1 times 7.5, and then there are 4 equal sides of that. So times 13.1, and then I add to that the top. That's 393, plus this top again has a surface area of about 177. So the surface area of the box then is about 570. Okay, so the volume is greater, but the surface area is much greater. Now the final question, and the important thing, is what is like the ratio? How much space is being enclosed by the surface area?